Champions League Club Brugge vs Aston Villa prediction, team news, lineups preview. Meeting for a second time in this season's Champions League, Club Brugge and Aston Villa will clash at Jan Breidel Stadion on Tuesday evening, in the first leg of their last 16 tie. Either Liverpool or Paris Saint-Germain will await the winners in the quarter-finals, after the pair convene in Bruges and in Birmingham. Match preview. European Cup runners-up back in 1978, Club Brugge are making a rare venture into the Champions League's knockout rounds, only their second to date after squeezing through the league phase before enjoying a memorable playoff success. Having won the home leg with a controversial late penalty, the Belgian champions simply swept Serie A title contenders Atlanta BC aside in the first half of their second encounter, as teenage winger Kemstijn Talby scored twice in a breakout performance, leaving Bergamo with a 5-2 aggregate win over last year's Europa League winners. Brugge continued their impressive progress following a slow start to the first stage of Europe's top competition. Beaten by Borussia Dortmund and AC Milan during the first 3 rounds, the Blauwart bounced back by beating Aston Villa and ultimately made the top 24 on goal difference, despite a 3-1 defeat to Manchester City on the last match day. Since then, they have turned their attention to Belgium's Pro League, where they have a 10-point deficit to leaders Genk after conceding a stoppage-time equalizer in Saturday's 1-1 draw with Gent. Last term, Brugge claimed a 4th domestic title in 5 years, but Nicky Hayen's side have proved to be less formidable this time around. Still, they are particularly strong at home, as last month's loss to Standard Liège was their first in 17 games at Jan Breidel Stadion. Finding the net is no problem either. They have failed to score in just one of their last 35 fixtures. Like Villa, Brugge took part in the Conference League last season, coming through 3 qualifying rounds before reaching the semi-finals, and both have adapted well to life amid Europe's elite. The club's first competitive meeting in November brought a close-fought 1-0 win for Hayen's side, with the teams separated by a moment of absent-mindedness from Tyrone Mings, after which Hans van Aken coolly dispatched a decisive penalty. That finally ended a long winless run against English opposition that stretched back some 14 matches, 11 of which had been defeats. The Blauwart were one of only 2 teams that managed to beat Unai Emery's men during the league phase, as Villa also proved worthy of their place in the elimination stage. After storming through their first 3 Champions League fixtures, including a memorable home win over Bayern Munich by claiming maximum points and a trio of clean sheets, the Premier League side then stumbled with that loss in Bruges. Nonetheless, finishing up with an eventful 4-2 victory over Celtic ultimately secured a cherished top 8 finish and direct entry to the last 16. Once again, the villains will lean upon the vast experience of their Basque boss, who now leads a 4th different team into the knockout phase, following previous runs with Valencia, PSG, and Villarreal. As injuries and fatigue have recently set into his Aston Villa squad, the Birmingham side have seen their league form waver, and a long trend of away struggles has yet to abate. Sitting only 10th in England's top flight, albeit just 4 points shy of 5th place, they have lost 9 of their last 12 fixtures on the road. But, with just 2 defeats in 23 home games across all competitions, the latest being Friday's 2-0 FA Cup win over second-tier Cardiff City, Emery will be keen to keep things tight in Belgium before going for glory at Villa Park. Team news. Club Brugge's main concern relates to midfield mainstay Rafael Onyedika, who recently sustained a muscular injury and sat out Saturday's league draw with Gent. Dutch defender Bjorn Meyer has been sidelined since the end of January and is also set to miss the first leg. Sure to start in midfield, Captain Hans Vanaken has played every minute of the current Champions League campaign. His spot kick winner against Villa was his 20th goal in UEFA competition. Meanwhile, Kemsdijn Talbai, who has drawn transfer attention after playing a part in 3 goals in his last 2 European games, should support Ferran Jutgla up front, standing ready to make his first Champions League appearance for Villa. Marco Asensio linked up with fellow new boy Marcus Rashford to secure a FA Cup quarter-final place on Friday. The PSG loanee now has 4 goals in his last 3 games. The visitors' Belgian midfield general will return to his homeland. It is over a decade since Yuri Tielemans made his Champions League debut for Anderlecht. Aged 16. In goal, Emiliano Martinez recently returned from a minor injury, and he has only been beaten with 6 of 39 shots on target faced in Europe this season, meaning an 85% save percentage. Though Boubacar Kamara was back on the bench against Cardiff, Tyrone Mings and Matty Cash were unavailable. They may yet return, but Pau Torres ankle, Amadou Onana thigh and Ross Barkley calf will miss out again. Andres Garcia and Daniel Malin are ineligible. Club Brugge possible starting lineup: Mignolet, Cees, Ordóñez, Mecheli, De Kuyper, Jashari, Vedelsen, Talbai, Vanaken, Solis, Jutgla. Aston Villa possible starting lineup: Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Bogard, Digny, Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, Asensio, Rogers, Watkins. We say, Club Brugge 1-1 Aston Villa. Not only are Club Brugge tough to beat on home turf, but Aston Villa are generally a much weaker team on their travels. With several forwards in form, though, the English side should score on their second trip to Bruges in the space of 4 months, keeping them in contention ahead of next week's return. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.